Thank you, brother. Perfect. Thank you, brother. Perfect. Yep. Thank you, man. That was heavier than expected. So, probably drop down. Not probably, definitely gonna drop down. But I'm gonna do 1 or 2 sets just because make up for the time and attention that I didn't get. I'll tweak my back on leg days, so I'm trying to find somebody to pass me one of these weights, but it's kind of difficult in this gym because I'm not trying to fuck anybody's day up, because you got to keep in mind for some of us bodybuilders, the weight that we use, we don't think it's necessarily that heavy to pass it to somebody, but oh yeah, if you don't mind, I appreciate it. I didn't want to talk. I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate it. I tweak my back on leg day, so I'm like, for me to get that shit off the floor, that shit kind of, you know. You're different. That's awesome. I appreciate you, bro. I was just talking about the whole spotting thing. That it's difficult to find somebody to spot me, so sometimes I don't want to bother people and make them lift a fucking 150 or 160, whatever. Even if it's, well, probably wouldn't ask on a warm up, but for the working sets, anywhere from 140 to 170, we might not think it's a big deal to ask for somebody to pass you the weight, but shit, somebody could tweak their back passing you that shit. So you want to find somebody who appears strong enough, probably mid-workout, so warmed up a little bit, and somebody who could pass it effectively. So, and also somebody you know. You don't have to be besties, but you know well enough to you don't feel like you're bothering them. So luckily somebody asked me, it was an employee asked me, so that made it a lot easier. But I was about to do it myself, which probably would have not been a good idea because I did tweak my back, so it would have been uncomfortable. Probably could have tweaked it even worse. So luckily somebody stepped in, that's always cool. But I actually got a pretty good pump for that, so I might leave that there. I was gonna do an extra set to make up for the first set, but I think I feel good. So, and I don't got a ton of time, so let's move on. Y'all remember when y'all first started training and you would take forever in between sets so you could be strong? Take like 6 minutes between sets just so you could push more weight, which is not necessarily a bad idea. Making sure you got all your strength back is a good thing when you're trying to progress, but I find myself not really giving a fuck these days, and sometimes I don't want to be in the gym forever, so I find myself moving pretty fast between sets. Not that I don't feel fully recovered, but progression isn't something I over-prioritize. I do still make some effort to progress in some movements, and I do in that phase, but I don't necessarily continue to progress up in weight all year round. But there's phases in which I progress pretty regularly, and then I have a pullback phase that I might not progress during that phase, and then obviously prep phase I may not progress in that phase. But anytime I have a push phase in the off season, I'm gonna progress, and that's usually more than enough to build some more tissue. Alright, we're gonna finish our chest with some machine flies. I'm not really feeling the music in here today. I got my headphones with me, but the music's so loud that it would be weird to have the headphones on. Really got that stretch on there. Always feel better that way. Alright, I'm gonna do 1 or 2 more sets here. Alright, first movement for shoulders. I'm gonna do some side machine side laterals on the Arsenal piece. Same thing. 2-3 working sets, 10 to 15 reps. Probably 2 working sets.
Yeah, I need to take a step.
Motherfucker. Alright, we're gonna do some tricep cable press downs with the V-bar, I guess you would call this. I'm gonna do 2-3 working sets of 10 to 15, something like that. Game time. It's kind of light. My shoulders are fucking fire right now. I didn't do anything special, so I don't know why, but I'll take it. I guess I went a little heavier than usual. I just remembered why I got such a good shoulder pump. I pinned my delts yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, last night. So that makes sense. So that makes perfect sense. What's up, y'all? Finished the workout up. I did some push, so chest, some shoulders, a little bit of triceps. I usually like wrapping up in the gym, but seem to be short on time. Not almost. Every workout, I've been short on time. I'm getting in where I could fit in. So I figured I'd wrap it up here. But before I wrap it up, I just want to keep you guys posted on what's going on at the moment. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. I wasn't sure if I was going to compete this year. Just a lot of shit has happened in the last couple of years. And off the stage I'm talking about, not on the stage. A lot of things have happened in the last few years that haven't put me in the best position. I mean, I could say emotionally, I guess everywhere you could think of, right? You know, mentally, emotionally, even financially. I mean, I had a lot of things to deal with, so I was kind of, bodybuilding never stops, right? Because it's a lifestyle, so I always get my meals in, I always get the training in, the whole nine, and even if I'm mentally not there, the intensity is always there. Maybe not the passion, maybe not the emotion, maybe not the enjoyment of it, but that's the beautiful part about discipline, right? Discipline has nothing to do with motivation, right? Discipline is discipline. That's the part that you get it done no matter what. That's why it's important to have discipline and not rely on motivation, because motivation is fleeting, right? So I've still been getting it done, but I don't believe in starting preps when you're not where you need to be mentally, because that's going to set you up for not a very good experience. And why do something like put yourself through a prep when you don't even put yourself in a position to potentially be your best, you know? Or not even be able to finish it, which is not what you want to do. So I usually advise, clients, my own clients, to make sure you're going to a prep where things are pretty decent. It won't be perfect, because life is never perfect, but we're in a decent place that you're not overly stressed and dealing with too many things. But I found that me not thinking about bodybuilding at all actually stressed me out more, right? Because bodybuilding can be a beautiful distraction from life. You just have to be careful that you're still getting life done, because you don't want to distract yourself to the point where you completely disregard life and your life crumbles, or you don't want that. That's not very bright. But sometimes it can be a useful distraction, sometimes it can be a detrimental distraction. And I've been in situations where it's done both for me, right? So this past year, I felt like it was a useful distraction. Everything from the podcast to the prep last year, very useful distraction, I'd say. So this year, I was debating if I should do it or not, and I came to the realization that it's probably not wise if I didn't have something to focus on. So I'm still gonna prep, and I'm still gonna compete. I'm gonna do a few shows this year, and let's see what happens. I mean, I'm at a point that I have a different outlook on it, I'll say at this point. I'm 32 years old, and my outlook is more so improvement than any specific stage goals, if I'm being honest. And that's not a cop out. That's just honestly how I feel about it at this point. your viewpoints change in life, and some things become more important, some things become less important, some things are just as important. But sometimes perspective is the most important. So nothing changes. Still gonna give the prep everything I got, like always, because I mean, I don't really have a choice, if I'm being honest. I'm not somebody who gets in shape remotely easy. I'm somebody who has to give it my all to even have a presentable physique at all. I've never had a stage look that I was proud of, and that's unfortunate. I don't think that's a lack of muscle. I don't think that's a lack of genetics as far as muscle bellies and assertions. I don't think that's a lack of, in some instances, not even a lack of condition. A lot of the times it has been in my competitive history, but not all the time. I've been in really good shape as well. It's just a lack of putting it all together on show day, really. Doesn't matter. Nobody gives a fuck how good you look 4 weeks out. Nobody gives a fuck how good you look 10 weeks out. It only matters how you look on the stage. So I really want to bring a look that I'm proud of, that I feel like is the look I know I'm capable of bringing. You got to be careful saying things like that, because there's a lot of delusion in the sport, and you don't want to be that guy who thinks they have some look that looks really good and they really just don't have that look, unfortunately. I hope I'm not one of those guys. I don't think I am. I don't think I'm one of those guys. I don't think most people think I'm one of those guys, but I mean, I could be, I guess, but only one way to find out. The only way to find out is to continue to do it, until you get that look that that you want, or you're capable of. So, more work to be done. I love the idea of work that I could control. That's not in, I mean, it's in the hands of the judges, but you know what I mean. It's still, the look is mine, the decision isn't mine. But like I said, it's not necessarily the decision that's the biggest thing, the biggest goal in my head. Obviously, the decision matters, because if it didn't, I could just get in shape and take pictures, right? So the decision is a big part of it. I'm just saying that the look is what's going to bring me the sense of pride and fulfillment more than the placing, So both would bring the ultimate fulfillment, but like I said, that's just not my perspective anymore. But yeah, I mean, it should be. I want it to be a good experience, just because. Once again, keyword or magic word of the day: perspective. I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy it more, just because I felt like there's so many years where I was just miserable in prep, and I'm like, this sucks. I wanted to be over with. But then be careful what you wish for, because it will be over with at some point. At some point, we all gonna stop bodybuilding, stop well, if not bodybuilding, at least start competitive bodybuilding, stop competing. So it will be over. So probably don't want to rush it. You don't want to rush to get to the point where it's all over. So enjoy it while you're doing it, instead of complaining about it just to reminisce and miss it. 10 years down the line, try to enjoy it while it's here. And that goes for everything in life, including life itself. But I think that's a pretty long-winded wrap up to the video. But I think it's important to kind of say what's going on, because I'm a pretty private guy. Besides the banter in the podcast, just sometimes I talk about personal stuff, but in a really vague way, just more so for the jokes. I like to crack jokes, so I like to get personal but not deep. Not that I went into detail about my personal life here, but just more so about how I'm feeling and how I'm doing mentally in the whole nine. So I think I'm in a much better place mentally and emotionally right now than I was in the beginning of the year, that's for sure, or late last year. But still work to be done. We men, and nobody's gonna nobody's really gonna help you. You have to kind of, get up on your own and get shit done. And nobody's gonna pat you on the back unless you get it done. Guys only get that pat on the back, when they get through the bullshit, right? If you're at a low point as a guy, nobody's there to console you or tell you it's gonna be okay. But when you go through it and you come up on the other side, you get the respect. Everybody shows you that respect, and you respect yourself. I've been through a lot of ups and downs in life, so it's not a position that I'm super uncomfortable being in. I'm not opposed to working on myself and improving myself. That's shit. I chose bodybuilding for a reason, right? A lot of work to be done, both physically, both mentally, both emotionally, spiritually, fucking metaphysically, every physically you could think of. So make sure y'all doing the work on yourselves to make sure y'all being the best human being you can be in every way. Be the best brother, be the best sister, be the best father, the best son, the best friend, the best friend, the best cousin, the best trainer, the best coach, the best social media influencer, the best sponsored athlete, the best everything. Make sure you're doing your best to be the best, and hopefully everything's going well with everything in your lives. And if anybody needs somebody to talk to, you can always shoot me a DM. I always chop it up with people. I do it all the time. Anybody who DM me knows that. So yeah, so anybody want to talk, shoot me a DM and we can chop it up, talk about some real shit, and not just bodybuilding. Life isn't just bodybuilding. It's a lot deeper than that. I'm sure a lot of y'all can relate. But shout out to all of y'all that watched this video. Shout out to the ones who don't watch this video but just happen to see this one. And spread love, man. Spread love and bust your ass and make something of yourselves. But this video is coming to an end. If you guys like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at BodyFall, TikTok BodyFall. Email me for coaching at teammacho with 2 O's at gmail.com. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.